This is Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque, continuing 16 years on air and online, helping you succeed in buying, selling, and investing in property. The best real estate strategies out there just for you.
Welcome to Real Estate This Week. Hi again, I'm Stephen Gasque, and I'm so glad you're here as we talk about how to nail it every time, no matter what kind of real estate you want to do. Just you, me, and the best real estate guests in the country. Today, selling your house. We'll get expert advice on how to get your house ready, how to price it just right, and how to get home buyers lining up to make an offer. So for that, let's talk to one of the best real estate agents in the nation. Joining us now is Natalie Davis, the past president of the Colorado Association of Realtors and the past chair of its Diversity and Inclusion Committee as well. Plus, Natalie received the Colorado Association of Realtors' highest honor, its Distinguished Service Award, not once, but twice. Natalie is a broker and the founder of the Evolution Group with Keller Williams Denver Downtown in Colorado, and the Director of Community Growth at Keller Williams International. Natalie, welcome to Real Estate This Week.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephen.
Natalie, I'm delighted you're here. So first of all, how's business in Colorado?
You know what? It is really good. I would have to say that we are making our way, shifting towards a balanced market, which I think is always nice and beneficial to both buyers and sellers. But we're still, it's still a competitive market and a great spot for buyers. And I think that the timing of this recording is perfect because I think more now than ever, it's important for sellers to really position themselves for success in the sale of their home moving forward. So I'm so excited to dive into a discussion with you today.
Is now a good time to sell my house?
That's a great question. Here's what I like to say to that. It depends. It depends on where you are in life. It depends on what you're hoping to achieve. If you're simply looking to sell to make the largest margin in terms of equity that you could ever make, you may have missed that boat by about 18 to 24 months, here as of mid-2025. But if you're really looking and you're in a space that you have a life change, a career change, any of those big things that we know that lead to a change in or need for real estate sale, now's a great time. Just this time of year is great. We still have a very healthy market. We hear all of the chatter that interest rates are a little bit higher and everyone's waiting on the sidelines for the interest rates to go down. Side note, not everyone's waiting. So if you are looking to sell your home and you take the appropriate steps in preparing your home for sale and truly understanding what's happening in the market, yes, absolutely. One thing that I like to tell sellers, though, is that the market that you sell in is also the market that you buy in, or vice versa. The market you buy in is also the market that you sell in. So keep that in mind.
Oh, that's a really good point, Natalie. And so let's start our conversation by talking about getting your house sale ready. So good that buyers will just fall in love with it. Now, if I'm a normal human being and I've been living in my house, it's not sale ready. There's stuff everywhere. There's, magazines. There's a big old ugly couch. There's this and that and this and that. What are the first steps towards getting your house absolutely ready for the market?
I think it's really important to take a look at your home alongside your real estate professional, that partner that you're going to work with that's going to list your home. And so you want to have the knowledge and insight of an expert that's already in the industry. So I think the very first thing that you want to do is have that consultation with a real estate professional to let them know that you're exploring putting your house on the market and have the discussion of the things that need or should be done in terms of updates, regular maintenance of the home, things of that nature. And so when you start to have that conversation, that professional is going to help to position you to start to look at your home, not as the place that you've spent years in, that you've created memories in, but really from the vantage point of being a buyer. if you are a buyer in this market and you're looking to purchase a home that's similar to yours in the same area that yours is located in, within the same price range that you're going to price your property, then you can start to look at your home a little bit different. Otherwise, you have all of the emotional attachment to our homes, right? We always do, because we have some, life events that are connected to our experiences and our time in that space, and just the memories that we have there. So we've got to pull ourselves from the emotional piece of it and really look at this as marketing your home to the general public to make sure that the buyers feel like they have FOMO if they don't get that house.
Interesting. And Natalie, I've heard many people say that if you have all these family mementos everywhere throughout your house, it's not great because it could turn off buyers. What do you think?
I agree 100%. The thing that I like to advise my sellers is that you want to create space where the new buyer can envision their personal belongings in the home. And so if they walk in and there's a 5-foot portrait of your family hanging over the mantle, it's hard for a buyer to envision themselves, because now they're just thinking about the family that's hanging over the mantle, the portrait that is, that's hanging over the mantle, and what they've done in the home and where their rooms are located and things of that nature. So we want to remove that from the buyer's brain and their thought process. Create a space where they can envision themselves sitting on the sofa and watching the game or watching a movie and having movie night together. You want to make sure that they can envision themselves in the primary bedrooms and then what the secondary bedrooms will be used for. So the less that you have that's a distraction to the potential buyer, the better it is in the marketability of the home.
I see. And Natalie, in the past when we've talked, we've touched on a big subject, staging your home. Now, is that absolutely essential or just optional?
I think it's absolutely essential. And it just varies to the degree of staging that you're going to have in your home. There are some individuals that were born to be designers in their life, and they've chosen a different path, and their homes reflect that, right? They're beautifully decorated, meticulous in space, but sometimes there is still too much of a personal touch and that your personality that comes through in a lot of those design elements. The other side of that equation is that sometimes we've lived in our homes for quite some time and we're collectors of things. And so having a stager come in will help us in just redistributing the things and personal belongings that we have in our home, specifically so the home shows well and photographs well. And more importantly, the latter. The biggest thing that we want to do when we're starting to prepare our home to make it marketable is making sure that as we have a photographer come through to capture the essence of that home, that it's truly capturing the essence of the home, not the fabulous furniture piece or art decor or something like that. We want to capture the attention of the buyers, and it all starts online with those photos. So the staging piece, or the staging step that we take in terms of preparing our home for sale, is so vital when we're capturing the photos and the essence of the home.
And I know that staging is a big investment. From your experience, is that investment covered by getting more money for the house?
Yes, absolutely. I think the way that you mentioned it, Stephen, thinking about it as an investment is perfect. It is just that. It's an investment in helping to secure the best price and most compatible buyer to purchase the home. When we're looking at staging, we don't want to think about it as an expense or a cost, but truly an investment. We know that there are statistics that support how much above list price we've seen historically for homes that are staged and priced well and marketed appropriately through all of the resources that are available. The impact that it has on the equity or that additional profitability for the sellers of those homes. And at the end of the day, I think when you look at it as an investment, it's absolutely worth it. Yes.
Oh, that's good to know. Good to know. And another question, Natalie. A lot of people might be kind of reluctant to put in a brand new kitchen or brand new bathrooms just before they sell. Mm-hmm. What about that dynamic of whether to just leave it and sell it or really fix it up and sell it?
That is so great. Such a wonderful question, because that is the crossroads that we get to, right? We want to know, should we renovate the kitchen or the bathroom to those trending colors and the color scheme that's popular in that year or that, season that you're in. And what I like to recommend is, if you are going to do the changes, to do quality changes that are as neutral as possible. That's probably the best combination. The hardest piece that we see is flooring, because individuals, sellers that are looking to put their home on the market, they're wanting to update and change flooring within the home, which is a really important piece, especially if there's wear and tear on the existing flooring. And when they do so, the emotional piece comes into play, which is where I think that connection and relationship with your trusted real estate advisor is going to be key. They can advise you on quality that is comparable to the other homes that are selling within your price range, within your area, because the last thing that you want to do is install finishes in your home that are of let's just say, lesser quality. In terms of the finishes for themselves, and then putting the home on the market and expecting the same sales price as comparables within the area. Because if you have a lesser quality finish, the buyers know this. We have buyers in the market right now that are so savvy and knowledgeable that if you put in, let's just say, laminate countertops in your kitchen, for example, where the standard or the norm within that area, within that price point is like a Corian or a granite slab countertop, you're going to see the results in terms of the showings that you have and the showing activity, the interest that you have from buyers. And now you've already invested the dollars into renovating the countertops in the kitchen, and your potential buyer may just see that as something that they're going to have to go in and replace once they purchase. And so you don't want it to hurt you. You want to look for something similar quality that will really help in accentuating the home, but it's as neutral as possible so the buyers can envision themselves in that space and their things in that space.
And also, your real estate professional that you're working with can help you, because if you're going to be investing $10,000, they can say probably you'll get back 12 or 15 or 20.
Right.
But if it's the reverse of that, if you're putting in 10, but you'll only get back 5, they'll know that too.
Exactly. And Stephen, there are some updates and finishes in homes that are going to give you a greater return. There's some research that was done recently, and to my surprise, actually, the biggest thing that provided the greatest amount of return for updates and renovation within homes are the doors in the home, which is new. This is a new trend that we're seeing in terms of what. Exactly. I know. I thought the same. Quality of your front door as well as the interior doors of the home were those that were giving the biggest return on investment for a seller.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, a couple more questions about the interior, Natalie, and then we'll head outside. How's that?
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Let's do it.
First of all, a question that you know the answer to, I know the answer to, and probably everyone in the audience knows the answer to also. How important is absolute spick and span cleanliness?
It's at the very top of the list. It's at the very, very top of the list. The thing that I like to tell my sellers as they're preparing to list their home is that we want the home to always be show ready, parade ready for, buyers to come through and tour the home, but you still want to be able to live in the home, right? So you want to get it to a point that whenever you have showings or previews or tours of your home that are coming up, that it is pretty much spick and span. Nothing as far as clutter or crumbs or debris or anything like that should be left on countertops or in open spaces where potential buyers will see it. Even if it's in your office space, it goes back to what we started out this conversation discussing, Stephen. We live in our homes and we have the pile of magazines or the stack of mail that you're going to get to at the end of the week and things of that nature. Those need to disappear magically.
I love it. Yes. I love it. And another question, Natalie, is we all have either a closet or maybe a basement or something that could be regarded as dim and even scary. Mm-hmm. What about really bright lights in all those spaces?
So important. And I'm so glad that you mentioned bright lights. I personally work with a stager that does a phenomenal job of also going the extent of changing all of the bulbs within the home to make sure that they match, which is, these are some of the things that we talk about, that working with a real estate professional and a stager that can really help you in making sure that your property and your home showcases really well to buyers, that they feel like they're missing out if they don't get it. Going that extent to replace all of the bulbs to ensure that they are the same wattage and they're the same, so they're not, either they're soft or they're yellow or they're bright. And sometimes we'll go to the stores and we'll replace our bulbs, and some are soft and some are bright, or they're different watts when we're going throughout the house. If we can ensure that the lighting throughout is consistent, that is such a benefit, again, in making sure that the home photographs well. It lightens up those darker spaces, and you can bring in supplemental lighting if needed. But it also helps in capturing the essence of the home without taking away or being distracted or even manipulation of the photos. It's just capturing the natural essence of the home.
Natalie, that is great information. I mean, I've always heard about using 100-watt bulbs,
Yes.
but not the actual temperature of the bulb. That
Exactly.
is fascinating.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And that's a big thing. It's not something that we think about when the bulb in the kitchen goes out. The first thing that we think as homeowners is the bulbs in the kitchen, as we went out, I'm going to pick another bulb up when I go out to the store, and it may or may not match, right? And so these are the things that as we live in our home, we make sure that the home works for us, that it's, it's comfortable. But these are the slight little differences or slight little things that could make a difference in who you're attracting to purchase your home.
Okay, so if in your bathroom you have a great big light panel above the sink, and it has room for 6 bulbs, and 3 of them are the old round globe bulbs,
Mm-hmm.
one of them is the old incandescent, and 2 of them are little candle bulbs, it's not going to cut it.
Not at all. Not at all. Because what you have done in that moment, and this is such a great example, in that moment, you have immediately taken away from that bathroom and the features in that bathroom and drawn the attention to the light bulbs. And for whatever reason, if you give the buyers a reason to fixate on one thing, they're going to be focused on that one thing and not the bigger thing that we want them to experience, which is the bathroom itself. Is it functional? Does it work? Can they see themselves utilizing it and it being a part of the space that they live in? Versus, I can't believe they didn't change the light bulbs, or not even realizing what's making that space not resonate with them. They may not even realize that the bulbs don't match, but there's something that's planted there. And so you hit the nail on the head.
And so, Natalie, another big factor in selling your house fast and for the biggest profit possible is curb appeal. Now tell me, how important is having a yard that's just as beautiful as the house itself?
Very. I would put that at the top of the list as well. I would say curb appeal goes above the sparkling, clean, spick and span inside. The curb appeal is first and foremost. A couple of things when you're looking at curb appeal. In typical photos that you see in marketing a home, the very first photo that captures the attention of the buyer is the exterior of the home, the outside. And so if you are looking at preparing your home to be marketed to the public for the buyers to gain interest in it, again, we're looking at how well it's going to photograph. And so if you can make sure that your lawn is well kept and maintained, it doesn't mean that you need to invest $20,000 and install a new irrigation system. But if you can ensure that it's going to photograph well, and there are many things that you can do to help in doing so, that's probably at the top of your list in terms of priorities, is making sure that you capture the attention of those buyers immediately as they're driving by or as they're pulling up the photos online.
Oh, that's wonderful. And another question about that. What about the theory that when you're walking through the house and you look out the window, you see something pleasing?
Yeah.
Rather than an old wheelbarrow leaned up against the shed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's here's the challenge that I think a lot of sellers have, and that is understanding where they can put those extra things in their home, the things that we've gathered over the years that don't necessarily have a place that are not going to photograph well. And so when you talk about the wheelbarrow, that's our outside maintenance equipment or, lawn care, things of that nature. You don't want to have the lawnmower sitting out on the side of the home. If you can put that away in a storage shed, that's great. If you have a garage space that you can store that in, that's great as well, which is kind of I think a customary catch-all space that a lot of people will give a little bit of grace to when looking and previewing homes is if you utilize the garage or your storage shed for true storage while you're marketing the rest of your home, that's your best bet. If you have the option and the availability to do so, putting those things in short-term storage is ideal. That's top notch. But if you don't have the resources to do so, utilizing your garage space in an organized fashion to store all of those items until you're ready to pack up the home to move.
Oh, that's wonderful. And now, Natalie, let me ask you about the buyer who wants to see your house. What if I'm selling my house and I say, well, I don't really want to be bothered by a lot of people. So how about Saturday from 2 to 5 and Sunday from 2 to 4? And that's it. What happens to me?
Goodness. If you are going to put restrictions and limitations in terms of when buyers can get in to preview the home, it is basically also restricting the marketing capabilities and the marketing expertise of that real estate professional. Now, we as real estate professionals, we want to honor the seller's request in terms of those time blocks. For me personally, if I was given that example that you just shared, I would utilize those time blocks as opportunities to host an open house, because we're then honoring the request of the seller in terms of when they want people to come through. But I'm a big advocate for open houses because you can get 3, oftentimes 4 times as many people through an open house in a given hour as you can for a showing block. So just to reinforce this, a typical showing lasts anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. So in a 1-hour time block, you can schedule 2 individuals within that 1-hour time block if you're not allowing them to overlap. If you're hosting an open house, you could, in theory, have 5, maybe even 10 sets of individuals through the open house during that same time segment. And so you're still able to market and promote the home to the greatest number of buyers that are out there without restricting and limiting it to a weekend where only 4 people have the ability to see the home.
Oh, that's wonderful. And in today's digital world, you're telling us open houses still work.
They do. There's something about the tangible, kinesthetic part of experiencing a home. There are individuals, most buyers, that will go out and they want to feel the space. So we do a lot of the heavy lifting on the front end in preparing the home for the market, having the photographer capture the home and the essence of the home, placing that on all of those exterior outlets, the syndicated sites and things of that nature to promote the home. But there's nothing that replaces actually getting in, feeling the space, having a sense of the height of the ceilings in the space, the layout, the actual flow of the home. That occurs when you're in the property itself. Now, there are those rare occasions, and I've had them, the buyers that have purchased homes sight unseen. Those are the anomalies. For the most part, the general population wants to get in and see it and feel it before they purchase it. It is a big investment.
That's great to know. And Natalie, another question about showing your house. Say that you are the seller. You're not the agent, but you're the seller, and you and your family are just about to sit down to dinner. And there's a knock on the door. And someone says, hey, I saw your for sale sign. I don't have an agent, but can I just take a quick look? What do you do?
The universal answer is, thank you for coming by. Here's the contact information for my agent. Give them a call and schedule a showing. There is such a huge risk that's associated with saying yes and allowing someone into your home, because the reality is you're allowing a total stranger into your home. They don't have agent representation. You have no idea to vet who they are, if they're ready, willing, and able to purchase the home. And so you're allowing that to take place in your space, right, as the seller. And so if you are a seller where you are faced with that, and I know that that's a reality because I've had sellers that have been faced with this, I give them an extra set of my business cards, and they hand the business card to those individuals that knock on the door. Selling your home is a priority. Above all of that, I place safety. And so you want to make sure that you're also taking that into consideration, because your trusted real estate advisor are taking appropriate steps to ensure that they're working to protect your home and the well-being of those in the home. And so skipping that step really opens up a huge risk opportunity for the seller.
Well said, Natalie, and I agree completely. Safety first. And the last question, if we price the house right and it's in great shape, Natalie, in your market, how quickly can you expect to get an offer?
That is such a great question. And it depends on the market. So I want to make sure that I reinforce this piece. If you take the steps of sitting down with your trusted real estate advisor, and you go through the steps of preparing your home for the market, marketing your home well, and trusting them with their marketing efforts and their outreach and promoting the property, and pricing it well as it aligns with what the market trends are saying and speaking to for your specific area, you're already positioning yourself for success. The other thing that you want to take into consideration is the rest of the competition that you have in the market for your home. And this, again, is where you're going to rely heavily on your real estate advisor to help you understand how many other homes are currently in the market that are similar to your home, that have been on the market for a little bit of time before your home. Are they priced appropriately? And are they truly competition? i.e., are they going to also capture the attention of potential buyers as much as your home will? The number of homes that are on the market and the number of buyers that are in the market for that type of home will dictate how long you're on the market. So for some properties that they may come on the market, they may go under contract in 24 hours if there is no other competition in the market. You may have another home that's on the market, and there's 6 other homes that are on the market. And at the rate that they sell in that neighborhood, you may see 30 days, 40 days, 90 days, 120 days, because you have more competition. But it really depends on the pace or the average sales that you see in your community or within that market per month. And your real estate professional is the person that's going to give you that information. It's not a number that the common consumer or buyer or seller really tracks, but it is something that real estate professionals are constantly tracking.
That is wonderful. And Natalie, that pretty much covers getting your house ready for a successful sale. But let's close it out by asking you about your new position at Keller Williams International. It's Director of Community Growth. Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, I would be happy to. So I am so excited and honored to have the opportunity to work for Keller Williams. And I am working in the capacity of Director of Community Growth. And the focus and initiative is really in supporting the agents and that are part of the Keller Williams ecosystem, and being the liaison between Keller Williams and the multicultural affinity organizations that exist within the real estate space, ensuring that we are equipping our agents with the tools that they need to be successful, recruiting up and coming talent to the company, and giving our future leaders everything that they need so that they can see success in their business and continue to step into those fabulous leadership roles and opportunities that we have within the company.
Well, I wish you the biggest success in that new role, Natalie, and I know they've got the right person.
I appreciate you so much, Stephen. I am honored to do this.
And Natalie, I'm honored to have had you on the show today talking about all the steps towards success if you want to sell your house in 2025. Natalie, thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
For us too. Natalie Davis, the past president of the Colorado Association of Realtors and the past chair of its Diversity and Inclusion Committee as well. She is also a recipient of the Colorado Association of Realtors' highest honor, its Distinguished Service Award, not once, but twice. Natalie is a broker and the founder of the Evolution Group with Keller Williams Denver Downtown in Colorado, and the Director of Community Growth at Keller Williams International.
You're listening to Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque.
And now, it's time for Beyond the Basics, in which we bring your real estate knowledge to the next level. And today, let's talk about the photography involved in selling your house. Now first, something you probably already know, and that is taking photographs with your phone is not the way to go. Even though we all know that today's phones take incredible photographs, still, you do much better using a professional photographer. They know how to capture the essence of your house in a way that buyers will react favorably to every photograph. Remember, these days home searches start online, and they have to pop. And considering that you stand to make a lot of money when you sell a house, a professional photographer is always a good investment. But now, something you might not know. If you've already moved out of the house and you're selling it as a vacant property, be very careful not to post photographs of empty rooms. Now, the exterior, that's fine. But all the empty rooms inside, big mistake. Because that could very well become an invitation to squatters. If they see your house listed online and every room is empty, squatters could race right over there and just move in. You've heard the horror stories when squatters just take over an empty house, pay no money, and refuse to leave. It's a homeowner's nightmare because getting them out is really, really hard. So, don't help squatters find your house. Experts say that if your house is vacant, don't put photographs of empty rooms on the internet. Either just show the exterior or use virtual staging by digitally adding furniture, rugs, bookcases, televisions, everything to those empty rooms, so that online the house will appear to be occupied. Recently, I spoke to an attorney who specializes in helping people whose homes have been taken over by squatters. And he said it's easier to prevent the squatting from happening than it is to get the squatters out once they take over the house. And I asked him, what's the best way to prevent it? And yes, he told me, don't put photographs of empty rooms online. If you're selling and your house is vacant, leaving those photos offline could be the best move you ever make. Next time on Real Estate This Week, evaluating the offer. If you get 2, 4, or 8 offers on your house, which one's the best? We'll have expert advice on how to decide. That's next on Real Estate This Week. And until then, I'm Stephen Gasque, and thank you for listening.
A brand new episode of Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque drops every Thursday, everywhere. And you're invited to listen, subscribe, and follow us. Just look for Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque. The best real estate strategies out there, just for you.